Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Better World with Julann and Fran. My partner, Julann, could not be with me today because she is out of town, but I am Fran, and I'm here today with Tonya Tobias-Plummer. Welcome, Tonya.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you
Good.
so much for inviting me. It's really very exciting. Thank you
Oh, good.
very
Well,
much.
it's exciting to have you on our show. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Thank you.
And could you talk a little bit about some of the things that you're doing to make the world a better place?
Yes. So, first, let me begin with thanking you guys for creating a platform for people to talk about those kinds of efforts. I think that right now the world is so addicted to bad news and bad energy, and it really is refreshing to know that there are platforms out there and vehicles out there for spreading the good things that are happening in the world today because there's a lot of them. So, my name is Tonya Tobias-Plummer. I have been a Nichiren Buddhist for almost 40 years. I can't believe it.
Wow.
Um, February 26th will be the beginning of my 39th year of practice.
Wow.
And we have a Buddhist mantra that we chant, and it's called Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. And I wish I could put it in the chat, or I should have had a sign, but I will put the website in the chat if you'd like to post it in any way or shape or form.
Okay.
So Nam basically is prayer. Myoho is the spiritual aspect or consciousness of the universe that some people call God or Yahweh. Renge is cause and effect. And as in any science, Buddhism is all about seeing the causes that one makes or trying to make better causes to have better effects in one's life. And kyo is through the sound of your voice or your vibration. So it's really great that I think today there's so many conversations about what people are vibrating.
Right.
And it's very funny to me. It's not funny, but kind of coincidental that Fran, I know you've always had this really level, beautiful vibration. Even when we were back in college, you were always that even kind of vibrating person. I remember you to be that kind of person. So it's no coincidence to me that you had this really great podcast. Anyway,
Oh, well, thank you.
yeah. So Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is also what we call the rhythm of the universe or the rhythm of life. And so when you're chanting this mantra, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, when you're chanting this mantra, you're kind of getting in the gallop, for lack of a better word, of life and the rhythm of the universe. And it kind of puts you in the right place at the right time to affect the things that you would like to affect. It also brings up the wisdom that you need to solve a problem. It brings up the courage you need to solve a problem. So, which brings us to my next subject, which is education. So, I've been a teacher, licensed teacher, for the last 10 years, and it really has been one of those things that you said, when you're a little girl, you say, I will never do that. My parents are teachers or my parents' friends, right? So I made this vow that I would not be a teacher. And you know what that does when you say you're not going to do something.
Right.
So I've been a music teacher for 10 years. Now I'm in a different capacity, teaching students in a mental health facility to be their best selves. But being an educator has been my opportunity to really, one person at a time, to bring about the kind of change that we need to see in the world. So through music, I was able to really tap into each child's potential, and that was really really difficult. Many of the children came from underdeveloped countries,
Mm.
Many of them came from natural disasters in their travels, immigrating from countries that had floods and huge earthquakes, extended poverty. It was really, really difficult. I had all kinds of supplies at my desk. Sometimes they came not eating, not having sufficient clothing. Sometimes I brought socks. I brought
Mm.
gloves, scarves, hats, whatever I could to really support these children. But through music, it gave me this incredible connection to the person's heart.
Mm.
And in in the rat race of education, reading and math is always the priority, right? So the music teacher is kind of like, oh yeah, well there's a music teacher. She doesn't really matter. But studies have shown that the arts are exactly what one needs to excel in the other subjects. So by using music, not only to just teach music, but to allow the person to grow and discover themselves in the classroom. It was just unbelievable. Um, so take a sip of water.
Okie doke.
I also had, sorry about that. Um, I had self contained autistic classes.
Oh, goodness.
I had behavioral disability classes. I
Hmm.
had over 500 students. So I
Wow.
taught from pre K to eighth grade. I saw one class per week, and within 1 week, I would see the entire school. So I had a lot of children, right? I cannot tell you what a treasure it has been to basically raise children through music, right? Some of
Mm.
these students that I started with them in kindergarten, in second grade, and taught them all the way up to eighth grade. And to have that opportunity to watch a person grow through all of their difficulties, through all of the disbeliefs in themselves, through all the disbeliefs in each other, and to be able to contribute to molding that person, that one by one effort, that heart by heart effort to contribute to the world, it has been my greatest treasure. So let's
Mm.
take, for example, a student I had named Gary. Gary was autistic, he was nonverbal, and in teaching autistic children, every child is already different, right? But then when you're
Right.
teaching the autistic population, you've got all these other layers of differences.
Right.
And to be able to not only teach music concepts or theater concepts, because I use, of course, theater throughout the whole time I was there, as a vehicle to connect to a nonverbal child. How do you do that? How do you find out if they're really connecting? So I taught Gavin for about 5 years. In my fifth year of trial and error, and this is working, it's not working, he's getting it, he's not getting it, he's walking out of the classroom, he's running out of the classroom, go get him. One day, the teacher knocked on my door and she said, I have a surprise for you. And I said, oh, okay, what's going on? She said, Gavin, he walked up to me and said, good morning, Miss Tobias.
Oh my goodness.
And I almost fainted. The
Wow.
doctor said that this was a child that would never speak.
Wow.
And the teacher started, she said, I've been crying all day. She's crying, I'm crying. It was probably one of the greatest moments of my life.
Oh my goodness.
To hear a human being who the doctors had predicted would not speak through the efforts, and I'm not by any means taking all the credit for this, but through the efforts of all the educators in the building, who knows what kind of impact Gary will have going
Right.
forward. He's
Yes.
now in high school. I heard he's being bad. He's, but he's out there and he's speaking.
Wow.
So then from there on, that gave me the impetus to start to really, really like, when you get a charge like that as an educator, you're like, oh boy, I'm gonna go for it now, right? And then that gave me so much hope in the work that I was doing. Being a public school teacher is very, very tough.
Yeah.
You never quite know because of all of the administrative factors of meeting deadlines and trying to set targets for the students and all these things that don't seem to these data driven activities that they say is effective for teaching, but really they kind of get in the way of what you're doing. But having that breakthrough with Gary gave me the juice that I needed to do more things. Um, from there on, there were more amazing breakthroughs in that same type of way. Opposite was another young man, I'll just call him Kevin. He was an A student. He was an A plus student. He was on the principal's high honor roll,
Oh, wow.
but his behavior was atrocious.
Ah.
He was one of the smartest individuals that I knew, but of course, his family discord made it
Mm.
difficult for him to pay attention and to be on task. And so, um, when it came to graduation, sixth grade, I was the only teacher that gave him a B, and I ruined his honor roll status, right?
Uh-huh.
So the principal took me in her office, and she said, "Okay, the parents are coming, and they're coming for you.
Oh,
Everyone has given this kid A's across the board. You're the only one that gave him a B." So she said, "I will back you in whatever your decision is.
oh, that's great.
If you decide you're going to give him a B and it's going to be a B, but know that the parents are coming for you." And they're coming to plead his case to get him into a better school. And it was so difficult for me because this little boy was so arrogant. But I knew that under the arrogance was a lot of hurt.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I brought him in the office. I said, "Gary, Kevin, I know that you are going for this A. And so this is what I'm going to do for you." We were in the middle of the third marking period. I said, "If you show me your true heart, that you really want to change, the A is yours. It's sitting right there. In fact, I'll give it to you right now." I said, "But if you continue to not try your best and not be the best young man that you could be, because you contribute to everything in this building and so many other young men look up to you, then I will leave that be like it is, and whether or not you get into that new school will be of no recourse to me." He's like, "Okay." So he did it. He did improve.
Oh,
Um, and I'm hoping that that taught him something. But then from there, I had an idea of a Big Brother, Big Sister program, which is not a new concept, but we had um, so much bad behavior in the school that we started a link with like seventh grade boys and fourth grade boys. We assigned a little brother, a big brother, or a little sister, a big sister to students that we thought would match each other. And of course, each duo of students had a monitoring staff with them. This program that we started was very difficult to run with all the other things going on, but it made the students accountable,
Mm,
especially the older students, that
hmm.
they couldn't just do whatever they wanted without it affecting someone else.
Right.
So that concept in Buddhism of cause and effect, we try to use it in the best way possible in all aspects of our lives because everything that our thoughts, right, are creating our future. Our thoughts are a cause of sorts. Has it
Yes.
ever been your experience of your thoughts creating something?
Oh, absolutely. I am a big proponent of that. I will, the story of my family that I come from, my parents had 10 children.
Really?
Yes. And our dad passed away in 1965 at the age of 50 from lung cancer after having smoked unfiltered cigarettes for since he was 12. Now, my siblings, who were all very intelligent people, instead of taking those facts and putting them together, saying dad passed away because he got the lung cancer from the cigarettes, decided that there was something wrong with the family DNA or that we were just like cursed or these very intelligent people. But anyway, most of them, except for one brother who is still alive, talked themselves into dying earlier. And so I tell this story as a way of saying you have to be careful because you create, by the way that you speak to yourself, you can create your health. You can create your future. You can
Absolutely.
create, I'm a hypnotherapist, and hypnotherapy is all about guided meditation and creating the future that you want to have. So absolutely, not only am I a big proponent of you manifest by what you believe. I'm a huge proponent of the importance of the arts. It
Absolutely.
it's heartbreaking that the first thing when budget cuts are made, the first thing that goes is the arts because art clearly from your story, and that's not the first story I've heard of that child who was called, he was deemed speechless. He was not nonverbal, and he spoke. And clearly, it's a form of expression, and we all need a form of expression. Now, your art doesn't have to be music. It can be visual, it can be dancing, it can be cooking, whatever it may be. But absolutely, I agree I'm so behind every single thing you've spoken about so far today.
Yeah, I had another opportunity. There was a new student, I believe it was kindergarten, and and we suspected that the child was autistic, but there are guidelines in place as to when you can begin testing. So there is this vague thing there, the vague interval there between early childhood education, about like third grade, where you're just kind of dealing with the behavior and not really able to pinpoint what is going on with the child. And that's another problem, is the
Yeah.
testing and if the parents will allow the testing. But anyway, and the doctors had told this father, I'm not sure where the mother was, but it was only the father involved, and told the father that the child wasn't going to speak. So I sat down and I told him about Gary.
Uh-huh.
And I said to him, never let the doctors tell you what your child will or will not do. And the
Absolutely.
look on this man's face, I just can't describe, like I just can imagine no one had said that to him before. That there was always possibility despite, I mean, okay, let's go to me now. And my one of my breakthroughs, I chanted to be able to bear children.
Mm,
And the doctors had told me that it wasn't going to happen unless, well, they said my chances were very, very slim. I did miscarry in my first pregnancy. And they pretty much said, well, unless you do in vitro, which is inserting
yeah,
the whole operation into the womb, it wasn't going to happen.
right.
I went to three different fertility doctors and they all said about the same thing. And so I decided, after all the treatments and all the weird things that I was doing, that I was just going to continue to chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And in my fourth year of chanting about this, I became pregnant.
Oh,
I was
goodness.
able to carry to term, and
Mm.
now I have two big-headed, annoying boys, ages 28 and 27. And I consider them, I mean, my husband and I consider them to be my trophies.
Mm.
And this was making the impossible possible. And I think that I would like that to be my theme today for um, not only this conversation, but for this planet and everything that's going on. I'd like to add to that, though, that another Buddhist tenet of Nichiren Buddhism is great good is preceded by great evil. And
Oh,
so, if we were to bring up some of the things that are happening in our administration today, in the Nichiren Buddhist view, this is in a very weird way kind of exciting because
yeah.
it means that um, after all of this has passed, it's going to be some great stuff.
Yes.
And so when people are around me and they're talking about, oh, it's horrible what's happening to our country and we're going down the tubes, and I said, well, you know, bad things or things of this nature have a way of bringing people together in a way that they wouldn't do unless they were not threatened.
Right.
Um, if we talk about the civil rights initiatives, um, all of those things brought African Americans together, right? And then we had forming of these different organizations like the NAACP. That would not have happened had there not been some type of negativity going on. So
Right.
we try to use and to see negative events as a way of transforming things and also having the potential to move things forward in a positive way. Has that been your experience?
Oh, absolutely. I am so grateful, even though it is still evil at the moment, we're seeing a lot of evil. We're seeing a lot of good too. I mean, the protests are having an effect. I heard the other day that so many people protested so aggressively in Minnesota that they actually got ICE to leave. They backed down.
Really?
Yeah, they
I
got in
didn't
their
hear that.
cars and they drove away. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are getting together in delightful ways. There was this move on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know how it works, but
Hmm.
people would go to a Home Depot, which supports, Home Depot supports ice, and they would all in crowds go to Home Depots and buy these
Mm.
little ice scrapers for like $1.50 or something and return them immediately. And the whole goal
Mm.
was to clog up the store so that they couldn't do business, which
Wow.
I thought was brilliant. And a lot of the people who previously supported this administration are they're detaching themselves from it because they know that they're going down with the ship. So we're already seeing the good, and I'm so grateful to hear you say that often really beautiful things are preceded by great evil, because I do love the way that we're coming together on this.
Yes, there is a way that I think it's almost like physics, right? That when a certain energy or group of energies come together in an antagonistic way, the trigger or the effect of it is something that has to happen around it or in response to it to even that out or to move it forward. It's almost like physics, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I think that, America is a little bit bent on relaxing, and being relaxed. And what more can I do to be even more relaxed or even more numb or just to have fun, we can do that a little bit to the extreme, right? And not really be in touch with the work that needs to be done. So I think that even though I do chant every day that no one gets hurt, and those people that have passed on from these activities, I do pray for them in my evening prayers that they will be reborn into even better circumstances. But sometimes I think a country like ours that has so much going for us that we need some of these events to, as they say, stay woke, right? And to really keep in touch with the work that has to be done. I'd also like to talk about my parents a bit because my father was very, very active in the 60s and through educational initiatives. And he was one of the founding members of the African American Teachers Association in Brooklyn. He was the founder of the Martin Luther King Jr. Foundation at Long Island University in Brooklyn. He helped to open a school in South Africa. I mean, he did all of these like really amazing things. And at his funeral, which was in the summer of 21, people came from all over the place, like Alaska and California. I think one person came from abroad to talk about all the things that he had done
Oh,
to help their educational careers, half of which I didn't even know, right?
right.
You're like,
Yeah.
when it comes to your parents, you're like, yeah, whatever, yak, 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 right? But I was really kind of amazed at what he was able to do. And as a child, in this type of in the 60s, in this type of the same temperament that we have now, I can only remember being on stage, dancing, singing, performing, and thinking, gosh, there's just so much anger in the world. I just wish everybody
Mm,
wasn't so angry all the time. I did not understand the anger.
right.
But now I kind of understand it as an adult, and I kind of understand why my father pushed so hard in the things that he did. I don't know if you've ever had any experiences where you didn't understand anger and now you do. I don't know if you relate to something like that.
To some extent, yes. Probably
Yeah.
not as much as you.
Right. But I really now understand what he was trying to do. I didn't like as a child the differences
Right.
of black and white and yellow and brown and always talking about I thought it was important to have pride in your race, but it bothered me that there was so much emphasis on it. I
Mm,
really remember I was about 6 years old and I said, what I want, we were all in the stoop talking about all this stuff for kids, and I said, I just want to be in a place where all the races and all the people are all together in the same place with the same dream. And I remember my friend saying, "You're watching too many Disney movies. That's not." Oh, yeah, Tanya's the one that watches all those Disney movies and thinks that's gonna happen. And I was like, "No, that's what I want. That's what I really, really want." And I knew it was possible. I almost remember it like it was yesterday. It was a sunny day, and I was talking to my friends. So that brings me back to Buddhism because when I went to my first meeting or event at the Buddhist Center, and I walked in, and there, every color, persuasion, it was the most incredible thing. It was exactly what I had.
Oh, that's beautiful.
In my head and in my heart as a kid. I was like, I know it, I know it, I know it, I know it. I was raised in the Baptist church, and which I have deep respect for, especially from a musical standpoint. But it always kind of bothered me that I was with the same group of people all the time. I was just like, yeah, but this is boring. It's just one ethnicity. I was very bored with that. It was kind of frustrating for me. So anyway, fast forward till I'm about 25, 26, and I came to my first event at the Buddhist Center on 14th Street in Manhattan. And to see all these different cultures coming
Mm,
together to chant for world peace. And we throw that, a lot of people throw that term around very
yeah,
loosely. But actually, what world peace really is each person doing what we call human revolution, which means that each person doing their own transformation, and that transformation radiating out into another person's life or environment is what world peace is really about. It's about each person transforming themselves
right.
first.
Yes.
We always think that world peace is out there, somewhere in the great Disney movie in the sky, right? But actually, world peace is each person doing their own homework, so to
Yeah.
speak. Have you ever had that thought
I
yourself?
don't think I've had it in exactly those words, but I do understand the importance of knowing that it begins with me. We used to sing in church, we used to sing a hymn, "Let there be peace on earth
Peace
and let
on
it
earth
begin."
and let it begin with me.
And I enjoyed the hymn because it wasn't as stodgy as some of the other hymns, it was like a little more up tempo, but it was positive and it was hopeful. And it made me realize it's not my place to say, oh, this is what's wrong with that person and that group and that belief system. It's up to me to work on me. And by doing that, I can make the world a better place.
One of the principles of Buddhism is that we have 10 worlds that operate within us at
Mm,
all times. The lowest, of course, being hell, but the highest is not heaven. The highest is called Buddhahood, right? And
mm,
your Buddha nature is that it's like a diamond that's inside you that is never tarnished, can never be chipped. It is you at your highest state, and it cannot be destroyed.
mm.
So we believe that the Buddha nature is in everyone, even in the current administration. All of them have a Buddha nature, believe it or not, but they do.
Yeah.
And it is up to each person to climb this ladder of these 10 worlds, going from hell, hunger, animality, anger, all the way up to Buddhahood. To once you elevate your life state, then you're able to see everything differently.
Hmm.
And so I think this is one of the points that's the most important, is how you're perceiving things. We also have the tenet that the highest state, Buddha nature, is also in all of the 10 worlds. So, for example, if your life is in hell and you're just a cantankerous old soul, the Buddha nature is still in that world, and it can transform your hellish state for positive action. So that a person who is maybe really grieving, like a mother whose son has been shot, let's say,
Yeah,
can use that hellish feeling to create a mother organization for
right.
other mothers that may
Yes.
have lost their son or daughter to gun violence. That's a really great example of that. So in Buddhism, we try to use that concept that whatever is in your environment or you're experiencing that's really kind of negative, you can spin straw into gold, for lack of a better word.
Mm,
And that is sometimes a very, very difficult thing to do. Um, but it's, I think, one of the greatest concepts that you can um, take something that's negative and you can turn it into positive
yeah,
if you're open to that concept.
right.
Okay, so now let's fast forward to my career. Um, I've been on stage since I was a kid, as I'm sure you have been too.
Yeah.
Since I was like 4 or 5, I think I started good old tap dance school.
Oh,
Like
cool.
we all started, right? Most of us. And from there, I was in the world of dance for a very long time, and that was my goal was to be a professional dancer.
Mm,
And my asthma, however, made that kind of difficult.
oh,
So when I auditioned for Performing Arts High School, and when you and I were in high school, there was only one,
right.
and I missed it by a few points. I did not get it.
Oh,
I didn't get in for singing or dancing,
mm,
and I was clearly a mess. I thought that I didn't deserve to be on stage. So for
mm.
when during my 17th year on this planet, I did not perform at all. I felt that I didn't deserve to be on stage. I stayed away from all of it. And then one day, someone advised that I join All City High School Chorus. And so I joined All City, and that's when everything really took off. We did a lot of classical music. I remember we had to do the Kyrie eleison of the Mozart Requiem with
Ooh.
no music.
Oh, wow.
It just is like pages and pages and pages of runs. But we did perform that well. We performed at Lincoln Center. And from there, I just stayed in the world of music. And that's what brought me to Brooklyn College. When I got there, I could not read music, so I failed. I
Oh,
I didn't read music at all. I just sang. Um, but me and my bold self, I went in there and I auditioned for the voice program. And Dr. Walter Gerboth, never forget
oh.
the man, was the dean at the time. And he came to me personally and he said, "You have a lovely voice." He said, "But you can't read to save your life." He said, "Take this test um, and go study it and come back in 3 months." And I got in by the hair of my chinny chin chin. And shortly after that, he passed away. And I'll never forget him for that opportunity. So there I was in the music program, just learning how to read music. It took me an extra year to graduate because
Oh,
I was so illiterate. And everyone else that was in the program had been reading music since junior high and band, and I was never in a high school band or anything like that. So it was quite difficult. But from there, Bill Boswell invited me to do this little show called "I'll Die If I Can't Live Forever" that he wrote.
oh,
And that went to Italy actually, and that was a great experience. I think that was that and funny thing that happened on the way to the forum were my first forays into musical theater. I totally remember your costume. I was like, "Look at Fran, she looks so sweet." I remember that, and you guys, just being in theater with you guys, it was like my life had went from black and white to color. Being a in classical music, it was just kind of restrictive. And I didn't really, really come to know the joys of theater until I met you guys.
Oh,
Was that your experience? What was it like for you just to be in
oh,
theater?
goodness. Yes, I absolutely came alive when I met all of you in the theater department. I used to wish that we could all just, move together and live on a farm somewhere and, like one giant married family or something.
Yes, 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 yes.
Um, so yeah, it was we were very supportive of each other. We really cared about each other. And I remember your costumes too. We did forum and company together.
And
And in both of
company,
them, you were
yes.
sort of like the more wild one, right? You wore leopard skin in forum.
I
And
was
then
mortified.
well, you looked great.
I was
It was
so
perfect.
embarrassed. Thank you. I was
Yeah.
really embarrassed.
Well, I think we were all a little nervous to do that show.
Yes.
It was a
But
different time.
it really gave me the opportunity to bring all of my experience together. Um, and from there, I was asked to choreograph for the All City High School Chorus, which was about 225 people,
Wow.
students. And it was going to be on Lincoln Center stage. And the conductor, John Motley, who's my first voice teacher, rest in peace, an incredible, incredible man. He was the head of the arts department, music department for New York Board of Ed. He asked me to choreograph One Singular Sensation and also New York, New York for All City High School Chorus to perform in Lincoln Center for the culminating activity with 225 people. I was like, you
Wow.
have got to be kidding me. He said, I want everyone to have a top hat and cane.
Oh,
I was like, how on earth am I going to do this? But being with you guys, have the experience that I had with you guys gave me the ideas. So we ordered all these canes, right? And I had them they were seated on stage. They were chairs, actual chairs. So I had all the hats and canes under the chairs on the floor. They all had white gloves that they put in their pockets. So right before the song, everyone put their gloves on while Mr. Motley was talking to the audience. And at different times, when the My Little Town Blues, right, the first time, they sat down and they pulled out the top hats and put them on. We worked that into it. And then with the modulation, the key change, then they sat down again and they pulled out the canes. And it was, this was what, 81, 82. So we really weren't into filming things at that time,
right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I only have it here in my heart what it was to see these students perform that way, to have an impossible task and make that work. Um,
Right.
that was that was a great opportunity. And then um, right after that, he also had a small female sextet that I was in that we did kind of like Manhattan Transfer kind of music.
Mm, right.
And after I got that attention, I got a standing ovation in Lincoln's A.B. Fisher Hall. And after that, the girls in the group kind of started giving me a little cold shoulder. There was this tension, and after they said I had my ego was out of control, and he called me one day and he said the girls want you out of the group,
Oh,
and I was like, wow, really, really, okay, all right, no problem. So I left, and I knew that it was the beginning of something, and it was my Buddhist practice that helped me to not internalize it as something really negative. Shortly after that, though, I got a call from the producers of Debbie Gibson's tour,
Mm.
and I didn't even know who she was. Embarrassing. And I got called to go audition for, and I got the gig.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I toured with Debbie Gibson for about a year, and I'm in a few of her videos, and but it was definitely my Buddhist practice that helped me to stay in this. This is going to be transformed into something positive. While I was on tour with her, I broke my foot
Oh,
on
goodness.
tour. And I broke my foot right before, about 2 weeks before we were booked to perform at Radio City.
Mm.
I was like, this can't be happening. I had family members who had bought tickets,
Right.
and the manager said to me, you cannot go on stage with the cast. You are going to do the show backstage with a monitor speaker, and you're going to sing from the wings.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, here I am, right, just this close to performing on Radio City stage, and I'm going to be backstage.
Mm.
So that's those kinds of those kinds of um, experiences help you to dig out, right, what value can I bring from this.
Right.
So I said, I know what I'm going to do. So I went and got, big hairstyle and fabulous outfit, because Debbie said to me, I'm going to introduce you. When I introduce the band, I'm going to bring you out for a minute. I said, a minute is all I need. So I really chatted not to be resentful at the manager. It wasn't her fault that I broke my foot.
Right.
And I bought this fabulous copper and black brocaded jacket, and gussied up as best I could. And so when she introduced the members of the band, she said, now I have my wonderful background singer who's in the back over there in the wings singing the whole show. And I came out Radio City stage, and I had my amazing, like, 3 seconds of fame, or whatever you want to call it. And I went off stage. And that was really, really taught me, that no matter what it is, you really have to try to extract the most positive thing that you can. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I'm just thinking of encapsulating everything that you've mentioned here. You've made the world a better place in so many ways. The Buddhism, certainly, the way that you've applied your beliefs to education and to entertainment, and all of the things that you've done have a very positive healing effect on every person, not only necessarily the people with whom you come in contact, but the people with whom they come in contact.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody is even in a theater and they go and see a great show and they leave and they're happy, they're nicer to other people that they encounter, and they're more helpful to other people that they encounter. So thank you so much for this. Has been really a very fulfilling episode. You have done just like so many things, and I really am so privileged and blessed to know you.
Thank you. You too. And I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity, and others the opportunity, to bring more positive perspectives into the world. It's so
Oh,
much, very much needed, Fran. I
it is.
so appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, well, bless you. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. This has been another episode of A Better World with Julann and Fran, and Julann will join me again next week. And our guest today was Tonya Tobias-Plummer. And please join us again, and please like and share this video. Thank you.
Thank you.